Hey, this is Brian here from quantlabs.net. I got now I gotta make sure I get your name right. Is it Yokwin? Yokwin.
Well, in English it's a bit difficult to say. It's Joaquin in Spanish.
Joaquin. Okay. Oh, I don't wanna.
Something like joking.
Okay, that I can work with that one. Joaquin. No, Joaquin. Is that good?
It's okay.
Okay. Anyways, I got Jochen here, who's doing an interview about myself. So I thought during this recording we'd have himself introduce who he is and his story and where he's going with his business. How are you an active trader yourself, or do you?
Yes.
Yes,
I am a trader, and I noticed. Well, I've been trading for about I don't know 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And I started in the beginning. I was a manual trader, but I began to trade automatically, and I prefer it now because my emotions were worse now and before.
Yeah, that's one of the big benefits of automated trading for sure.
Yes, and I found in programming and in the development of automated trading a friend for trading, at least for me, because if it wasn't for the programming part of trading,
yeah,
I think I wouldn't be trading at all. I wouldn't be winning. So when I was trading for about 2 years, I decided to share what I have learned. So I started a website called investindev.com.
Okay, I'll make sure we get that up.
And it is especially for programming and for online tuition about programming for investments.
So with that in mind, do you want to talk about your story on how you went from being, I guess, a human trader or a manual trader to where you're at with automated trading? I guess the first question most people ask: what programming language have you used? If you developed your own software trading platform or robot? If you want to explain that a bit.
Well, I began with one of the best brokers, I think, which is Wannabe. Well, I began with Forex.
Right.
And I still have Forex, almost only Forex.
Okay.
And I think that one of the best brokers for Forex is Wannabe.
Okay.
At that time, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, Wannabe didn't have an automated platform for trading. So
yeah,
I
know.
Manually. Yes, it had an automated platform, but it was for big accounts.
Okay.
My account was not so big. When I was I don't know 6 months trading, I discovered MetaQuotes platforms, just MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5.
Okay.
And I began programming with these languages, which is MQL4 and MQL5.
Right.
And I discovered another languages also, which is Yugascopy platform, JForex, which is Java.
Java, yeah.
Yes, and this one, FXCM, I think its platform uses C#, but I'm not sure.
So, yeah.
TradeStation, I think.
Yeah.
I think 2 years ago I won the 3rd place in Yugascopy contest.
Oh wow!
Automated trading. Yes, it was a very silly strategy which worked for that month.
Yeah.
And only that month. But it was fairly easy to win because automated trading has has rocketed from being almost. It has been discovered in just 2 or 3 years.
Pretty well, yeah.
When I won, only I don't know 100 people were in that contest, so it was fairly easy to win.
Okay.
Now it is much more difficult, and I don't take part in contests nowadays.
Yeah. Well, how many people would you say compete in these contests now? Like a few thousand?
Yes, at least 2,000. Yeah.
Huge growth.
At least. Yes. Well, what about you? How did you begin? What were you?
Well,
Tell me your story.
like I just want to just to help out direct. So the next big thing is that are you traditionally a programmer throughout your whole career, or did you come in with as a trader with zero knowledge in programming and moved into that, or did you have technical background before you made that switch?
No. Well, I am a system administrator.
Okay.
So I work as a system administrator,
Yeah.
and I use several languages in my daily work.
Okay.
And I began trading as a hobby, and nowadays it is beginning to be less a hobby and starting to be something more.
So this is pretty.
But I'm not.
But
yes.
But this is pretty well your primary income for yourself and your family, correct? Or you have
not
other.
at this moment.
No.
Not. I'm not living from trading.
Okay. We'll leave that then. Okay, because I just wanted to try to highlight like part of my community. We get a lot of people that are non-programmers, and I'm just trying to see if there is like that shift from where you came from to where you're at, and you're actually, have that potential to do quite well with trading and automated trading and developing yourself, your own algorithms and models and all that sort of thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that would make sense. That's,
yeah.
My own case is what I have told you. I am just developing my own strategies in several languages, as I told you, with R, with C#. I'm trying to mix from one platform to another, and just to take the best of each platform and use it in my own way.
Right.
With my own programs.
Right, I'm in the same boat. Okay, so you had questions for me, obviously, and you asked me about my history on where I've come from to where I'm at now.
Yes, I would like to know, how you started, I don't know, what was the beginning of OneLabs.net, how did you learn what you know now, and what is your position now in the investment industry?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm part of an investment industry. Like what I'm trying to put out there is that I'm just a schmuck. You can see where I'm at, right? It's just like a room in other person's house or apartment, right? So part of my gist of what I do is to showcase that a lot of people can do this. I know Dr. Ernie Chan, who's kind of like a friend of mine, who started me on this, and is doing very well, and he's up to multi-million-dollar portfolio. So I'm not coming from a banking side or from a trading side. I'm just the kind of guy, that loves software, that has basically as a kid devoured software development. My first actual computer, a lot of people will start with a Commodore 64. I started with a predecessor, the VIC-20 on cassette tape. And that's where I started. And we're going back to the early 80s. I started with like probably the first generation of video games with like Atari Pong, and then my very first video game was in television. So like we're going back to the late 70s and early 80s.
I remember that.
Right, and that's how I got hooked onto that stuff. And then my dad got a software, an IBM PC, but it was a clone. It was like $7,000 at that time with 2 disk drives. Like, we're going way back. And the thing was is that I just learned about basic basic spreadsheets like MS-DOS and so on, you know, all that stuff that revolutionized the software industry. I was part of that really early days, and I got hooked on that. So I started working with software development from basic. At that time I started mastering C. I went my first job when I graduated from school. I went to you know what a polytechnical school is? It's a cross between a university and a college. So I went and did that, did business, majored in, back in the time it was called data processing, and I came out of that with my first job working in, this is before the internet, again in C, working with, this is before even call centers came about, working in hardware boards in C, being able to take touch tones through a phone and then have like basically a computer at that other end. They call them interactive voice response systems. So you go press one to do this, press two to do that. I wrote a lot of those systems, but the first one I worked at was for a pretty well one of the first dating services ever called Telepersonals. I worked there for a couple of years, and I worked in a bank. Then I got into telco companies, setting up companies that set up what do you call them? Like basically call centers, like large call centers, like with a couple hundred people in each call center, and integrating all the data. So that's my whole history of where I started working in the corporate world. And I got kind of tired of it. I just wanted to work for myself and for my own type of business. So I had various type of businesses. But long story short, 5 years ago, I started reading Ernie Chan's book on automated trading. I discovered, you know, Ken Griffin of Citadel, the hedge fund?
Yes.
Back then, what really boggled my mind is when I was reading one of these business magazines, I don't know which one it was, but the report was he pocketed salary $2.1 billion. I couldn't believe what I was reading. And that really kind of galvanized me to start learning this stuff. And I started discovering quant back in the day, and you know, automated trading. And I always loved the financial markets. But it was just that book from Dr. Ernie Chan, How to Build a Quantitative Business. And from there, I started working on my own website, thequantlabs.net, looking at hundreds of, like tons of software platforms and open source projects, and trying to figure out what is the best trading platform. And then, as I'm sure you know, that it gets more complicated that when you start adding in databases and all the different types of strategies that are involved, and the risk management and the money management. It's a beast. You know what I mean? And I started learning.
It's a lot of things there.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the stats that I picked up on was, just in the last year, to go through this type of journey to learn how to automate trade or build an automated trading system on your own takes about 7 years to kind of master it. And again, I don't have strong math. I'm not a real hardcore trader like you'd get in Wall Street, let's say. So I had to learn a lot of that as well. Like last year I did Khan Academy for 4 months. I just did a couple of courses on equity trading and futures trading with options. So I had to spend all this time to get where I'm at now, and I think where I'm at 5 years ago, where I'm at now is night and day difference. So I'm a lot more confident, but I still have to go through the trading end of things myself over the next probably year or 2 years to actually develop something that will hopefully consistently profit and showcase that to other people. So I'm just kind of going into that story building mode, you know what I mean? But a lot of emphasis was put on the technology and getting it right, making sure I'm using the absolute best tools. I don't want to use like retail trading platforms like a Ninja Trader or a MetaTrader. I mean, I've looked at them, but I've always heard from other people through my community that people will hit some kind of wall, and you run into scalability problems and licensing problems, or all kinds of stuff. So.
Yeah, but in the other side, Brian, you will find, or you find every day, or at least me that happens to me.
Yeah.
Other kind of problems, don't you?
Oh yeah, I can give you. I probably wasted a good couple of years on various problems we can talk about. No problem. But go ahead.
No, I was talking about, I don't know, if you are developing something on, I don't know, your own platform, or
Yeah.
just you are, suppose you are storing data from your broker in a database, and then problems start to happen
Yeah,
just
exactly.
from one day to another. That's the kind of problems we have to deal with.
Right. I guess I'm trying to say I'm trying to take it from an architecture's point of view, like from a 35,000-foot view, where if I use this platform, what will happen? And then I'll go down and use that platform or open source project, and then you start to realize there's all kinds of problems with it, and you basically throw it out and you start over again. That's what I've been doing for many years. Or I could say the same thing about certain languages like R, Python. I've just good at what they do. You hit walls again. So I've pretty well the last couple of weeks picked a piece of technology, which is obviously MATLAB, and I'm making amazing strides with it, and being able to extend those trading ideas into other languages. Just that piece of software just enables me to do that. So it opens up a lot of doors. But going back to your challenges and whatnot, that happens all the time. And the problem is that while I'm learning the trials and tribulations of software development and what technologies to use for trading, I'm also thinking, at the same time, like I said, I have to learn the math and the actual strategies themselves. The problem is at some point you have to use something that's universal that will work for you. And I've wasted a lot of time on it over the last couple of years, and I've just decided, this is now what I need to do. But at the other end, you start to realize that the algorithms and the trading strategies and the models are really key, and really at the end of the day take priority over the technology. But they kind of go hand in hand, where one depends on the other. But the trading technology, or whatever you use for technology and infrastructure, you want to make sure you don't hit walls with it. For instance, you could write a piece of software and realize that with in mind whatever trading broker you want to go with, and then you start working with it. You start working with a broker, and you start to realize, oh, I don't like this broker for whatever reason. And then what do you do now? You know what I mean? There's all these things that you don't learn about, and I'm trying to approach it in a way where this is the absolute best technology I can work with, so that I can now move ahead and use these trading ideas that I have and other ideas that people send me, that I can quickly implement them and get them up and running fairly quickly. Because like today, I've just did 3 algorithms, just hand coded them from my, from let's say MetaTrader, transcoded them in MATLAB, and there's a lot of trading or programming languages I wouldn't be able to do that. So that's why I use MATLAB. I know I could go harping on about it, but I don't know if that answers. Go ahead.
Yes, that was what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
The pieces you always use for your trading, MATLAB is one of them.
Yeah.
Do you have another pieces or software or brokers that you always use, and you are sure you will be using it?
Well, as part of my, call it, discovery process over the years, I've looked at not just the brokers. Like I've drilled it down. Like we did a webinar last night between Wannabe and Interactive Brokers. If I'm just focusing on Forex, then yeah, I definitely use Wannabe. But over the years, I've worked on other code that will get me up and running fairly quickly using Interactive Brokers Trader Workstation. So because of that, in using, let's say, Interactive Brokers, you're only really limited to Java, .NET, like say C# and C++. And out of, I call it a secondary language, I would probably go with C#. Being on Windows, it's really easy to set up. There's not as much pain that you would go to setting up something like in Java. I mean, I've worked with Java for many years, but if I had to choose between C# and Java, I'd go with the C#. So that's another big language that I use and have been using over the last number of years. And in terms of suppliers or providers, as I said, there's Interactive Brokers and Awanda, and I've also looked at data providers as well. I mean, the Quandl's quite good. Obviously, Yahoo Finance is quite good for free sources, and I've got various references I can put out
and
there.
IQ
What's that?
Did you use? Did you use it at some time IQ Feed or?
Yeah, I was just going to mention my preferred one is IQ Feed. I've used it for a while. I stopped using it not because it's not good. It's just you're paying $100 or whatever you're paying, and I'm not really taking advantage of it. But once you start needing that data, I'll start moving back into subscribing to IQ Feed. I just find that their quality of data is quite good. You get all the assets out there. You get both historical and you can get it streamed to you in real time. So I like it. And when you factor in the cost of something like a Bloomberg or Reuters that are $1,000, $2,000 per month plus. And you can get it literally for 1/10 of the cost with IQ Feed. So that's why I use IQ Feed.
Okay. And I suppose that I saw IQ Feed. I think it is not so expensive, IQ Feed.
No, you can start. It's a menu of options you have. Depends what you trade. Let's say you're Forex. You get your basic feed, which is they just raised it to $75, and that gives you access to all the U.S. equities. Now, the things may have changed, but back in the day, it was $65. Now it's $75. Plus, you get all the news. So let's say that just gives you the basic feed, and then let's say you want to start working with third party through their API. So you need to get an annual API license, which costs a couple $100. I think it's like $300-400 a year. And then that will give you on top of the feed and the sample code for C#, C++, or Java. And then let's say with the equities that you only have for that $75 per month, and you want to move into to Forex. I'm not sure if it was $25 a month. You get all the Forex data from, which is their sources, FXCM, which is not bad. And on top of that, if you want to spend another $25, you can get, they have another service called 10-4, which is now owned by Morningstar. And then that will give you additional data sources from over 40 different banks over the globe. So the Forex data is quite rich with IQ Feed, and you can get all that for, what, $125 a month? Including the 10-4 if you want. So
okay, well, when I was investigating about this, about IQ Feed, I was just investigating another financial vehicles like, I don't know, futures or whatever, not Forex. Just another question.
Yeah.
I think you've been investigating about HFT and with these brokers, with Interactive Brokers?
No. How it works is I'm fortunate enough where I have in my community of people, I've got a couple of FPGA guys, and I'm sure you know, last night we had the same instance where we had a couple of hedge fund guys that are part of the presentations, that are part of my meetups or whatever online, but they don't want to reveal themselves because they have compliance within their employers saying don't participate in groups like this. So on the FPGA side and high frequency trading side, I have people that are helping me out, but they don't want themselves to be revealed on who they are. So on the HFT front, there's guys like me that are, running from operations like this that have a love of studying high frequency trading. High frequency trading, you can deploy high frequency trading in various ways. You can do it through software, or you can do it through hardware. A little collective of us want to do it the hardware route using boards called FPGAs, which are, from what I understand and from what I'm researching and what he's saying, is that FPGA is the ultimate lowest latency possible. So it's now moving from a software world to a hardware world 100%. So that means I'm not an expert. I can help you in the software, but hardware, no, because it's a totally different field. And this is where this person helps out.
Well, as far as I know, FPGAs is to achieve low latency or ultra low latency.
I would say probably zero latency, because it takes out all the latency that you would get with a an operating system, let's say Windows is definitely a no-go, or even in Linux, because with Linux you have the jitterness of the operating system itself. So you can remove all that using the FPGA solution. Again, hardware. In terms of brokers, it depends what you define as high frequency trading. You can get your box co-located in a couple of servers. There's a service called Speedy Trader out of Chicago that I just discovered, and it's fairly affordable, but it's Windows only, so you're in software. But again, that's not true high frequency trading. The brokers, the ones that I've seen that most HFT shops use, is a broker called Lime. Do you remember what's that service called? There was LimeWare, and there was another service from all the musical, all the music stuff, the torrents and whatnot. But one of them was Lime. Lime brokers came from that exact software, from the same guy who developed Lime, turned Lime brokers into an actual broker that will support high frequency trading shops. So that's a broker I've been eyeing. I've got their documentation that somebody sent me, and I've studied it. But again, the only language support you get is with either Java or C++ in Linux. That's it. That's, I suppose. Yeah, so that's an option I have. There's other options, obviously, if you decided to go right on the exchange, but again, that's huge money. You're looking at $5,000-$10,000 a month. But I'm always hearing that there's other companies and other services out there that are more affordable, that you can sit in the same data warehouse where, let's say, NASDAQ is, or whoever, one of the bigger exchanges for the futures market out of Chicago. You can be in the same in the same warehouse or same data farm as those operations, but they're going to obviously slow down the connection. But that is an option, obviously. But I'm just more studying the algorithm, the technology to get me there. But there is that technology. It's just a matter of getting on into those brokers. But they're very, very expensive. And this is one of the misconceptions about high frequency trading, is that somebody could just wake up and say, I want to be a high frequency trader. That's not the case. You have to have probably a 6, maybe a 7-digit trading account to start to enable to start up some kind of high frequency trading operation. That's just a fact, and there's just a lot of misconceptions out there about that. So I've been learning it. For me to actually get into it, it's going to be a long ways off. But that's one of the other reasons why I use MATLAB, specifically Simulink, because that enables me to, not quite at the push of a button, but I can push. Well, I have my visual trading model, and then I can go, well, I want to deploy it on a C or C++, and co-generate it into C++, or I could also do the same thing and deploy it into what they call HDL, for the hardware description language, which is meant for the FPGA boards. I could go on more about it if you're interested, but I don't want to. I'm not an expert, but no. But from a high level, you can use Simulink to do that, and that's why I choose MATLAB and Simulink to enable that as an option to quickly deploy that trading idea through a model from Simulink, and then deploy and co-generate into C, C++, or if I choose the HDL route for FPGA. If that makes sense. Okay.
Yes. Well, it's very interesting.
I just go ahead.
I just have 2 more questions.
Okay.
One of them is, I wanted you to talk about your Elite Quants group in your webpage.
Yeah.
Just for the people in our web pages, the ones who will see this video, just to let them know what you do and what you show in your groups.
Well, you were part of it. Part of what
I was a part of it.
Yeah, and the crust of it, to give you foundation, any course you take, is the idea is to give a background and a discovery of learning how to build, a basic trading system, automated trading, be it, I don't know if you've played with TradeLink, which back in the day I loved. I showed how to build that, how to build a pretty powerful open source option trading library, QuantLib. I cover those. I cover some of the charting options for a trading system in .NET. I cover, let me see, it's quite a bit. Going through a lot of the MATLAB capabilities, what you can do and how you can use MATLAB for trading. I also have another one for R as well. I've gone through R bloggers and looked at all the possible trading models that you can use for trading done in R. So I have that. Like I said, I've got the ones on how to show you how to build a trading platform. One of the other things, go ahead.
You have about, I don't know, 10 or 20 videos of a little course of R, I think?
Yeah, it's more than I think it's about 60 videos in there for the R. Yeah, it's about 60. I have an inventory, I have where you can download a spreadsheet of all the videos I have and all the different videos and in my different memberships. And when you total it up, it's about a couple of hundred videos and walkthroughs where you get the source code of, let's say, an R, MATLAB, whatever it is, and then I'll have like a 10-minute video or even a half an hour video that'll walk you through each piece of code for that type of trading strategy. And one of the things I used as a roadmap was a book from, are you familiar with how to build high-frequency trading? It's a standard book from Irene Aldridge. Have you ever seen that book?
Yes.
Okay, so
I've read it.
Right, so I've used that book as the role model for all the possible, I call them quant model types that you can use for high frequency trading. And I built out the scientific notation, all the algorithms that you can use. And then I kind of try to walk you through that and then give the latex with that as well. So I include all that as part of all these massive courses that I've got as part of that elite membership. I'll be using all that material.
Okay. What do you think, Brian? Sorry.
Go ahead.
What do you think that would be necessary for the people to know as previous knowledge, just to be part of your Quant Elite membership?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I do have people that are students. I do have people that are retired. I have people that are trading. So I've got a multitude of background, just a huge background of people. The things that you kind of need are to have the drive to overcome the technical challenges that any person's going to come across. That's a big piece that any person needs, and the will to sort of finish it. It takes a while. In the last couple of months, I've been doing meetups every week just to build out that community and have that audience in that community. I'm doing the same thing now on my Facebook group that I run. So there's a community of people where I'm trying to develop a Q&A for everybody and an open community to help people and enable people to leverage off of that. But in terms of the capability, it's very open-ended, but the key is the drive and the commitment to yourself to finish it and to get to a point where you're confident, where you have that knowledge for the software development and understanding the math and implementing whatever trading idea you have. In terms of technical, I think I have people that come in with zero programming knowledge. That's why I asked you on your knowledge. There's a couple of books I always recommend for people to understand. I won't say simple language. It's definitely not simple, but there's a book out there called Head First. It's a Head First programming series, and I try to push people to learn this, the C# one, because that will walk you through all the inheritance and all that fun stuff that comes with any modern language. And then you can use that book as a launching pad to move into another series of books. And there's a good book out there, I can't remember the name of it, but it's from one of the authors of Daniel Duffy, which is .NET, how to build out a trading system. And I think even if you have zero knowledge in programming or any technical, if you go through those steps of learning those books, I think those books will really help you out in whatever direction you go in terms of building out your own automated trading system. Because I've looked at all the different programming languages out there, and the one languages I find are really hard to get up and running with are like R and Python. R and Python are very good, but it doesn't give you the full spectrum that you need to get into like a high grade type of trading system that you would get with if it was done in Java, C# or C++. So when you start with C++, it's fairly, let's just say it's simpler. Whereas if you start with Java, you have a lot more dependencies. You have to worry about configuration. Same with R, same with Python, and it becomes really complicated for people to pick that up. But if you throw all that out and just start with C# and Visual Studio, you do away with a lot of those unnecessary complications. That's why I always try to get people to start with C# and see if they have those technical chops to learn C#. And if they do, then they can move on to the next steps. If that makes sense.
Anyway, it's a tough way.
Yeah, it is, for sure.
Trading.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, I wish to thank you.
No problem, man. Thanks.
No problem. For the meeting. I'm running out of battery in my laptop.
Oh, are you?
And I think we are ending this meeting.
Yeah, no problem.
Want to say anything?
Is there anything else you want to know about at all, or what I'm about, or?
I had several questions, but I think that you have answered them in one way or another.
Yeah.
And yes, you have told a lot of interesting things that we can share with the people, and I want to translate it to Spanish and to invest in deaf readers and the people who watch the online channels in YouTube, yours or mine.
Right. No, I appreciate what you've done, and as I said, I'll try to help out and help wherever I can for your goals, whatever you need. You just reach out to me. Well, you got my email and all that. And by all means, or anybody else, just want to help wherever I can. But I got to thank you a lot for doing this. I've opened up where I've put together or stated a lot of things I've never talked about before. So this is the first time in this video. So thanks for that. Sorry if I talked off your ear. It didn't exactly answer your exact questions in a short way. I just kind of can have a way of rambling on. I just love doing this stuff. So.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, Brian, thank you. We'll see you online.
Okay, and thanks again.
And I will follow you.
I appreciate that. And thanks again and wherever I can help you, whatever you need, just let me know. You got my contact.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, man. So thanks, and I guess I'll see you online, and you got my email and Skype, whatever you need.
Okay, I will talk with you about getting this video.
Okay, no problem. I'll send it out. Thanks again for doing it. Have a good one, eh?
Bye, see you.
Okay, take it easy. Later. Bye.